feel like I should throw a disclaimer out there that I've been throwing up since 2 a.m. and I'm going to look more like shit than usual.
But are you still more shit than the Giants' offense and defense combined, or
Fuck you. What is going on, guys? Week 7 of the NFL season is here, and once again, I am joined by Ben. Ben, it's week 7. Both of our teams suck. It's been a weird year so far to start the year. We are now over a third of the way through the season, a new 18-week season now, so week 6 is the 1/3 way point. So we're 1/3 of the way through. We do have the mid-season awards coming up, but Ben, it's week 7. How you feeling?
you say it's been weird, but I don't think either of us expected Atlanta or New York to do any better than they are now. Maybe you with maybe one more win, but Atlanta's kind of where I thought they would be. Not great, just kind of
It's just the
trudging along.
It's just the injuries that have been
Well,
frustrating for me. Yeah.
you've had injuries. I've just dealt with mediocrity.
Week 7 of the NFL season is here, and there was a lot of weird games this week. There wasn't a whole lot of games of the week. A quick recap. If you remember, in week 5, I had a damn near record week. I had every single pick except for one correct, including my 2-point. So that went from me being down by I don't remember how many to me being up by 3. Last week I scored 11. Ben scored 9, so I added to that lead. The score is currently 76-71. I am up on Ben heading into week 7, and I think we might have a bet in place. We're between two. We're between going back to the pepper challenge and actually doing a pepper this time, or wasabi. So you guys let us know in the comments which one you want to see. But we start week 7 with the game of the week, and my game of the week is a battle of the NFC North, and it's not the battle you would think would be like a thriller in this NFC North, but it's the Baltimore Ravens going up against the Cincinnati Bengals, and the Bengals have surprised a lot of people this year, but I don't think that the surprise from the Bengals that they've shown this year, and Joe Burrow, probably one of the most underrated players so far this season, I don't think any of that quite matches the amount of surprise out of Baltimore this year. Baltimore has been lighting up teams that we didn't think that they were quite better than. So it's been a very interesting season for both of these two teams. We know in this division, Pittsburgh is kind of on the decline. Cleveland hasn't had its best round of games these last couple of weeks. So these could arguably be the two best teams in the AFC North. But I would have to say that the Baltimore Ravens right now are the best team in the North and playing absolutely out of their mind, including Lamar Jackson, or especially Lamar Jackson, I should say. So 35-27, I have the Baltimore Ravens beating the Cincinnati Bengals. But I do want to point out that I personally think that Joe Burrow has been one of the most underrated players so far this season. And the fact that he went from having absolutely nothing last season, they didn't really add much this season, and his O-line is still not all that great, and he's still getting rung up, but he is having a killer season. So Baltimore Ravens 35-27 over the Cincinnati Bengals.
All right, so my game of the week is also going to be a matchup of two AFC teams, and it is going to be a rematch of, I believe it was the divisional round last year, but I know it was at least a year before that, the AFC Championship game, and that is the Kansas City Chiefs going up against the Tennessee Titans. Now, I'm going to be brief about this. Jackson Mahomes, I don't know if you saw what he did. If you don't know what happened,
I do.
Please
I know what
just
happened.
look. If anyone watching doesn't know what happened, look it up. It's just I could go on a rant, but I won't. I'm going to keep it to the Chiefs. It's not Mahomes' fault. Patrick Mahomes' fault that his brother is
An idiot.
Yeah, that's the best way I can put it. There's another word, but we'll just leave it at that. Back to the actual content, and that is the two teams. Now, I was watching Monday night, and I was hoping the Tennessee Titans won. Even though I picked Buffalo, I didn't want you to have 2 points over me. Well, it technically would have been one extra point, but I wanted that, just wanted to just keep it lower than it needed to be. But that defense, it held up, and Derrick Henry put not one, not two, but 3 Buffalo defenders into the ground. He is a grown man. I will get into that in my 2 point, but Long story short, though, I still got the Chiefs. Even though their defense is suspect, I still think that everyone's just overreacting to the Chiefs on how bad they are or how great. It doesn't matter. I think they're still the class of the AFC, and I got them winning this game 30 to 27 over the Tennessee Titans. A good game, but I think the Chiefs' offense is still better. But I'll get more into that in my 2 point.
What's crazy is the Chiefs' offense, in my opinion, is better too, but they actually lead the league in turnovers right now. Like
Which is weird.
over some shit teams like the Giants and whatnot. Okay, we move on to our upset picks of the week, and this is, I mean, probably the 5th week in a row that I've said this to where like we're looking through all of them and could not find an upset. I don't understand it. I don't know if it's like that the gap between like the good and the bad teams in this league are that hefty, or if we just don't believe in certain teams that we should probably believe in a little bit more. But one team that I know I had a lot of faith in at the beginning of the season and have kind of underperformed is the Indianapolis Colts, and they're in a division where, I mean, Tennessee is struggling, and they're the only good team in that division. So they're in a very winnable division, and these are games against the San Francisco 49ers, which is happening this Sunday. These are games that they're going to have to win because San Francisco is also underperforming. So San Francisco is the favorite team in this game, but I do have the Indianapolis Colts winning this one 27-24 over San Francisco. To be completely honest, I really have not paid enough attention to San Francisco to tell you like what their actual issue is. I figured they would have had everyone back and that they would have been, having a good season. But I don't think that the offense is working all that well, and I do think that the Indianapolis Colts have a chance to show some teams that, they're in a weak division. So winning some of these winnable games against San Francisco, against teams like the Raiders or something, or against the lower teams in the division like the Texans and the Jaguars, I think these are the type of games that the Colts can win to maybe contest with Tennessee in the AFC South because, like I said, Tennessee's struggling and they keep having to go up against teams like Buffalo, Kansas City. Anyways, Indianapolis Colts 27-24 over the San Francisco 49ers.
All right, so my upset pick is going to be 2 teams that, honestly, I could not care for in any kind of way, and that is the – anyone hears my dogs, there's a dog walking by, oh well. But I have the Philadelphia Eagles upsetting against the Las Vegas Raiders, and the reason why is really nothing against Philly's, like for Philly's credit. In all honesty, I'd hope they just kneel over and die, especially after week 1. But they have to play, and I had to talk about them in some way, even though I hate it in every single facet of the imagination. But I do have the Eagles winning this one 27-24, and the only reason why is because I still think the Raiders, even though they're a better team, they are still dealing with the repercussions of Gruden and everything that happened. So I think there's still some of that going on. The fact that they haven't caught any other GMs baffles me, in all honesty. But either way, I got Philly winning this one 27-24. And honestly, I would hope that they just lose half their roster.
Okay, so like I said, both of our teams suck. I mean, at this point, like if either of us really pick our teams to win, then the team that they're playing against must really, really suck. But the Giants go up against the Panthers this week, and the Falcons go up against the Dolphins. So I guess we gotta talk about that in some way, shape, or form. The Giants going up against the Panthers. Look, first of all, don't know why Daniel Jones played last week. Don't know why he's playing at all. Don't know why we're even trying to win games because the Giants actually played well in the first quarter against the Rams and then didn't. They go up against the Panthers this week. The Panthers haven't looked great the last couple of weeks, but the Giants are about to make them look like a Super Bowl team. So I do think the Panthers win this one 31-20 over the Giants. Daniel Jones probably playing. I know Saquon might be coming back soon, but at this point, who really fucking cares?
But one more game you got. Well, I have Atlanta coming back from their bye week, and honestly, if this was last week, I probably would have picked the Dolphins in this one. But I'm riding that train that if you lose to a terrible team, you'll lose again. But in all seriousness, I could see it going either way. It's probably going to be a shit fest. Can't speak right now. But I do have some reasoning to back up why I have Atlanta winning, and I have them winning 24-21, and that's because Miami's hurt. If Miami was healthy, I would not pick Atlanta. Atlanta also has Calvin Ridley coming back, so Atlanta is just the healthier team, and that's just the only reason why I have them winning this game. If both teams were healthy, I would have Miami, but because Miami's hobbled and Tua still has some question marks, which is weird because he's technically still a rookie in my opinion. He didn't play much last year, so he still has some growing pains. But no matter what, I still got Atlanta probably for the last time until I think they play Detroit like later in the season. So the last time I can praise this team, and they'll probably still choke.
All right, the last of our picks are the wild card picks, and one game that I wanted to talk about. Again, there just really wasn't that many interesting games this week. It was very tough to find a game of the week and a wild card in the shit show of games that there were this week. But I did want to talk about the fact that the Chicago Bears 2 weeks ago were the one team that fucked up my perfect week. But last week actually showed that, you know, they lost to Green Bay, and he shouted at their fans that he still owns them. But, you know, they play well. They play in games, and Chicago is such a weird team this year because, like, I don't think they're that good. I really don't. They play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this week. I have Tampa winning this one 38-20, but this is one of those teams that could just go in and beat Tampa, and they're 4-3 all of a sudden. Everyone's like, "Oh, is Chicago half decent?" And then next week they go and play like the Jaguars or something and look like shit and lose on like a field goal or something. And it's like, I don't understand the Chicago Bears. I don't know if Chicago Bears fans understand the Chicago Bears. But if you do, please explain it to me, because this is probably one of the weirdest teams in the NFL. And I don't know why I made it my wildcard team. I just kind of wanted to throw it out there that, I mean, I have the Bucs winning this game. They're clearly the better team. But Chicago's just one of those teams that can just go into Tampa and beat the shit out of Tampa, and then lose next week to whoever the fuck they play, probably like Detroit.
My wild card is going to be Thursday night. One of the only probably 5 good Thursday night games, in all honesty. And that is the Broncos and the Cleveland Browns. Now, granted, Cleveland, outside of Baker getting that Hail Mary, weren't even close in that game against Arizona. Like, Arizona clearly was the better team. And I saw it firsthand just how dominant that team is. Like, it's scary, but I still think Cleveland is better than the Broncos. I think this is going to be a very good defensive game for the most part, but I do have the Browns winning this one 28-24 because I hop back on that Baker Mayfield bandwagon for a little bit, but we'll see how that goes. I think it'll be a good game. It'll be probably, again, one of the few good Thursday night games all year, because I know Atlanta plays on a Thursday night game. That's already going to be a terrible Thursday night game if you have Atlanta playing.
So if you guys noticed last week, I'm going to start that over. So if you guys noticed last week, I started putting our picks under our other picks. So like when Ben, for instance, just announced the Cleveland Browns over Denver Broncos pick, I put my pick underneath that. So here are all the picks that don't get talked about. So if it was in that main 4, whether Ben said it or I said it, it's not in here. But these are all of our other picks that we didn't talk about at all during this week. There's not that many because teams are now on bye week. But like I say every time, if you want to pause and find your favorite team, go ahead and do that now. The last thing of Nick's picks, as always, is the 2-point conversion. And look, the Arizona Cardinals are the only undefeated team left, and I've talked about them probably every week of this season, just about as much as I've talked about the New York Giants. But I really, really, really do believe in Arizona. And no, do I think that they're going to win the Super Bowl this year? No. But I do think that they are going to put up an insane season this year. They're already 6-0 at this point. So I feel like they're just on the up, and they're going to have probably one of their best record seasons in franchise history this year. And they go up against the Houston Texans this week. Now, when we were going through the picks and when I was looking for my upset pick, it ended up settling on the Colts and the 49ers. what I do for the upset picks to determine whether or not it's an upset is I use the Las Vegas odds. So if there's any bettors out there, you might want to listen up here. The Arizona Cardinals are favored to beat the Houston Texans by 18.5 points this week, which is the largest odds out of any of the Week 7 games going on this week. I firmly believe that Arizona is going to beat them by more than 18.5 points. I have Arizona winning this game by 20-plus points, and to make it a little bit more of a bold prediction, in order to get that 20-point lead, Arizona will have at least 5 offensive touchdowns against the Houston Texans. So they will beat the point spread by winning this game by 20-plus or more 20 or more points, and by doing so, they will have 5 offensive touchdowns as a team, and they will just beat the shit out of the Houston Texans.
I mean, it's Houston. They already get beat up enough as it is. Also, can we just talk about why is their name the Houston Texans? That's like saying, hey, we're the New York people.
We're the Brooklyn New Yorkers. Yeah.
The Brooklyn New Yorkers. My bold prediction. My bold prediction is going to be that Derrick Henry is going to show that he is still a grown man compared to everyone. It helps that he's playing against a very suspect Chiefs defense. And I'm saying this right now that he will continue the tear that he is going on right now, and he will have more rushing yards and rushing touchdowns than the entire Kansas City Chiefs offense. Now, they could have more passing yards and still win, but Derrick Henry will be clearly the best runner in anything. Tyreek Hill on end run? Nope. Derrick Henry is still getting better. Mahomes wants to run for a lot of yards? Nope. Derrick Henry will still be by far and away the best runner in that Chiefs and Tennessee Titans game.
No shit.
Hey, I got to get 2 points because...
You're falling behind.
I fell. Technically, I'm only down 2 because Atlanta was on a bye week.
So that is it for Week 7, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to drop a like on it, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And that is it for Week 7. We will see you next Thursday for Week 8. This Thursday is the Browns and the Broncos to start off Week 7. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Ben, is there anything you want to say before we sign off for Week 7?
Honestly, the only thing I gotta say is, does Daniel Jones remember his name? Because not only did he have a concussion, but he probably got rocked at least a couple times in that game. I wasn't watching.
I stopped watching after like the second quarter, so I have
you know what? You know what's bad when the network themselves switched to a different game.
They also lost. Tony got injured, so there's another wide receiver, and C.J. Board, another wide receiver, broke his arm. So.
Oh, it was his arm? Oof.
Awesome. It's fun to be a Giants fan. Guys, I hope you enjoyed. Have a great one. Peace.
Bye.